Side note, while scrolling on Pinterest, one of the funniest things I think I could ever come across is when people make Oogie Boogie costumes for their babies. This is how I feel on the inside. Okay. That is lukewarm. Delicious. Hello. Happy autumn. It is officially fall. I am feeling refreshed. I took a week off or so from sewing because this killed me. But I am back from outer space, feeling adequately spooky and ready to make something else. Because honestly, making spooky stuff is the only thing fueling my serotonin. Last year, some of you may have seen, I did a video where I made this dress, which was based off of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. And so this week, I wanted to do sort of a cousin of that, an Oogie Boogie dress. There's just something about the characters from Nightmare Before Christmas that they're all so recognizable in and of themselves that making garments based on the characters. Wow, he's a fresh man. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You gruffin'? Design, colors, textures that I have a lot of fun reimagining them into different pieces while still remaining very recognizable. Oogie Boogie is no exception to that. My man is full of texture. Initially, I was just going to do a skirt for this because I felt like doing a skirt would be the easiest way to follow along and very easy for you to recreate at home, which I never really think about when I'm making videos. But when I made my Sally dress last year, a lot of you actually ended up making your own version, which is like... So I figured an Oogie Boogie skirt would be really easy to follow along and easy enough material-wise for people to do their own versions. But I was recently watching Back to the Future for the about 5,376th time. I've always loved Lorraine's dress from the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Love the structure of it. I love, it makes her cleavage look great. Always a good thing. I kind of wanted to combine what I was thinking with that. An Oogie dress, but make it 1950s prom, I guess. Very floofy skirt, structured bodice, maybe with a little sweetheart neckline. So this week we are making an Oogie Boogie dress. Also, watching Back to the Future again solidified the fact that I love George McFly with all of my heart, and I kind of am him. I've seen a lot of Oogie-inspired dresses throughout my years of being on Yield Internet. One especially that I really, really love is this one by Genumai Cosplay, which I actually saw in person at a con before, and it is double chef's kiss. Weren't expecting that, were ya? I'm going to take you over to design phase, and then we're going to go shop for materials, and then I'm going to show you the pattern I'm using, and then we're going to just get started on this bitch. Okay? So without further ado, design phase. Like I said, I am going to draw reference from Lorraine's dress, cute sweetheart neckline, and then a very structured bodice. That's how we like our skirts here, nice and swooshy. That looks a little lumpy. Most of this dress is going to be burlap. Now to make this not so itchy, because burlap against your skin sounds like actual living hell. For the inner liner, I'm just going to use a black bedsheet that I have. That's burlap, okay? To sell that it's Oogie even more, I'm going to add some side seams with very visible stitching. Black band across the bottom, but we'll see how I'm feeling, I really want to incorporate fake bugs into this, but I'm not completely sure how to do that. I might have the bottom a little bit ripped open here and then have some nasty bugs come out. So this is the basic idea. Looks a little underwhelming in sketch form. So now that we've got the design, I am going to head over to the fabric store and then we'll meet back here. So I am at the fabric store. Woof. Is it just me or do the mirrors in cars accentuate my mustache. I have a loose idea of what I need to buy in there, and that consists of burlap. I think I need to grab some black yarn because unlike my Sally dress, literally stitched all the pieces together with black embroidery thread, which took absolutely forever. In order to get those stitches nice and thick, I'm gonna go with yarn, I think. Ow. There we go. We're back. First and foremost, a whole lot of burlap. I got 8 yards of this. I'm not quite sure I needed this much because 8 yards didn't sound like that much until I watched her cut it, and she just kept rolling, just kept. It's a lot. So I'm definitely gonna have leftover burlap, which is fine. I can make, you know, other crafts with it. I just wanted to make sure I had enough, especially if I'm gonna use the pattern that I'm thinking of. I'm gonna need a whole lot of fabric. Yuck. And then I got some interfacing. I just got 2 yards of this because apparently interfacing is hella expensive. God. I don't know if you know this, but apparently burlap sheds like a husky in summertime. And then I got some cute socks because I cannot resist. Yes, I regret nothing. As for rest of materials, I do have black bed sheets, fake bugs. This one actually makes me want to vomit. Why? Why are some of these so large? All I'm saying is if I still had Barbies, I'd throw a collar and leash on this bitch. Lastly, I did get this. I honestly have no idea if this is gonna work. Just slightly toxic. That's how I like my clothing. Now, as far as pattern pieces, my initial idea was just to do a circle skirt for this, very similar to what I did with Sally's dress. But I am kind of tempted to use a pattern that you have seen me use very many a time. This one. This is exactly the top that I want. And I have made this longer skirt a lot of times and I really, really, really love this pattern. For this one, I think I want to make the shorter version. 6 panels, you need 2 of each. So that is 12 skirt pieces that all need to be put together. As with most of my projects, we are gonna start with the skirt. Let's get spooky. Here are the 6 skirt panels laid out on the bedsheet fabric. As you can see, I did shorten them where I was instructed to. So next I am going to start cutting these all out and then pinning them together. And then eventually we can do the same thing with the burlap fabric. Now, as a side note, if you wanted to do this but a little simpler and just do a circle skirt, take in the black fabric, fold it in half. There is a calculation you can do for your waist measurement. Now for me, that comes out to around 4.25 inches, I believe. So basically what you would want to do is take that fabric and then right on that corner fold, what I did in my Sally dress video was I kind of made a makeshift little compass of sorts. I would mark 4.25 in a circle from edge to edge, and then you also have to figure out how long you want the skirt to be. And then just cut along those lines and you should have a complete circle when you unfold it. I just want to throw that in there just in case, obviously, you don't have this random pattern from the 70s. Now I'm gonna get back to cutting. Day 2. This is the day where most of the work, I think, is going to be done today and tomorrow. Yesterday, I got so far as to pin the pattern pieces to the burlap and cut the burlap out. Now I just have to take those paper pieces off. Take those paper pieces, pin them together. It's also freaking heavy, which I didn't realize about burlap. I thought burlap was a very lightweight material, but apparently the kind that I chose, thick boy. I probably will end up doing the black band along the bottom just because from what I've seen of the burlap, it frays. I think having a black band along the bottom will save me stress about trying to hem it enough that you can't see all the little frays. Let's get these babies sewn. The burlap sections of the skirt are all sewn together, and it worked better than I thought it would. It looks like a war zone, or that I just, have a very small cat. So now what I'm going to do is take that top burlap section, put it on top of the black liner. I'm going to sew it at the ends and around the waistband. So let's do that. Ta-da! Don't mind my saucy mannequin. Here is the skirt so far. I put the trim all over the bottom. It's a little poofy right now. Something got a little messed up with the burlap over the lining, but to be honest, I don't hate it. I think Oogie himself is quite bulbous. I am going to start on the bodice, which I haven't used before in this pattern, so that means I have to cut out a few pieces and kind of figure out what the heck I'm doing. Try to find the instructions page of this pattern because I am a tornado and I have no idea where I put that. The instructions are where they belong. Ye of little faith. As you can see, I have all of the bodice pieces cut out. Bodice front, bodice side front, and then bodice back. These are all the facings that are gonna go on and be turned inside out. You'll see it when I get there. Pretty dang simple. I'm not cutting out a strap because I plan to go strapless. Wow, strapless. I apologize, it's very hard to talk when I'm bending over because all the spit just wants to... Anyway, cut out all the fabric that I need. I think I'm gonna try to lay the burlap pieces on top of the black lining pieces so that I have like a 4-layer pile of fabric, if that makes sense. And that way I can cut out all 4 pieces that I need at one time. So let's give that a shot. I just attached the lining layers to the burlap and then I pinned them all together. It seems like it's gonna fit pretty well. Obviously it's a little bulky around the edges because it's only pinned together. Let's stitch these together. Let's stitch these together. Please. Oh, handsome man. Oh, thank you. Play Boogie Boogie's song. Acapella! I like that as the days progress in my sewing projects, you can visually see the amount of fluffs I give about my outfit just disappear. By the third or fourth day, I'm here to get shit done. Also, yesterday, as I was working off camera, I slipped and almost fell flat on my face. So as a mature, responsible adult, I'm switching back to socks that have little grippies on the bottom. Today is the last day. What I did was hand stitched all of this top, and on the inside where I turned the facing inside out, I did tack it down with stitches. And then I sewed the skirt to a waistband. Will be easier to attach the bodice to the skirt. I'm not gonna do that quite yet. I have decided to save the joining of the bodice and skirt towards the end of the process, just because my next step is to add the yarn stitches. To do that, I think it would be easier just to have these as separate pieces. So that's what we're gonna do today. And then, my friends, weathering. Because I'm me. I did actually invest in an airbrush. I have always wanted one, but I've been too chicken to buy it because it seemed like a big learning process. So I am going to try to use that for the first time. A lot of times when I'm weathering fabric, it can be a little bit hard with brushes, especially with this texture. It would be really hard to get a smooth gradient from shadow to no shadow. And then of course we have to try the spray paint, which I might just go spray that on a little bit of burlap and see if it will actually work. So yes, first things first, I am going to stitch the stitches. Side note, while scrolling on Pinterest, one of the funniest things I think I could ever come across is when people make Oogie Boogie costumes for their babies. This is how I feel on the inside. Okay. I just get such a workout from sewing. I feel like a overzealous conductor from the 1800s. Side note, I sprayed this little tester of burlap fabric, and now let's see if it actually worked. I can't see shit. Oh, this is scary. Oh no, I don't know if I can do this. I'm 28 years old and I'm afraid of the dark. Here, let's bring you into this dark room. I need to hold it up to the light. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna put the whole thing up to the light. Yeah, science. Whoa. Cool. Airbrushing time. Let me show you my new little beast. 'Tis this. It wasn't too hard to figure out, which I think is part of the reason I never got an airbrush before, because I was a little intimidated by it. I'm not a big machinery type person, so and I guess my underlying fear is that it's just gonna blow up. Doesn't seem like that's the case, which is a good thing. If I turn it on, it's gonna be pretty loud, but it's definitely a little messy. The words of wisdom is that if you're going to have a first project where you use an airbrush, a Tim Burton themed project is probably the best one that you can start with. Because if it looks messy, it was totally on purpose. Huh? You see all of this shading that I've already done? Do you see it? I just now ran out of paint in this tiny little compartment. I've been wasting paint my entire life. Ta-da! Oh, keep those arms down. This might be one of my favorite projects I've ever made, and a lot of that comes from the airbrush. Look forward to me literally airbrushing every single thing ever. Quick way to make your modern clothes look 300 years old. A little wrap up here. What went well, what didn't go well. Like I said, I think the airbrushing really helped. It has a very Burton-esque vibe, which is definitely what I was going for. I think the overall shape worked pretty well. I'm really happy with the skirt and how swooshy it is. The bodice itself is a little frumpy. I mean, it's a strapless, so I think pretty much all of my strapless dresses are like that, unless I were to tape it. But overall, it's not a huge dilemma. It's not that noticeable when I'm standing up. Things that didn't work so well, the glow in the dark kind of worked, but not really. I think maybe if I were to lay this dress out in the sun for like a whole day, that it would work. I pretty much needed constant light on it for it to actually glow in the dark. So other than that, I honestly wouldn't change too much of this dress because this is probably the most fun I've had doing a project in a really long time. I enjoy making everything I make, but this I just was looking forward to every single step. Nothing was extremely difficult. Nothing was extremely time consuming. I just really enjoyed the process of it. Of course, got to weather things, so that's a plus. Spooky time, y'all! It's almost October. I'm very excited and I am very behind in making looks for Maksy. I told myself that, you know, I'd have a few photographed before October even starts. Have I done that? I think October is definitely going to be a very heavy make month for me. So I'm hoping that these videos don't become very repetitive. I'll try to switch things up every now and then and try to keep it, you know, fresh. Or in my Oogie Boogie voice.
Fresh.
I really wish that was a true voice that I could just whip out whenever I wanted to. I hope that if you did want to make your own version, that you tag me and let me see. This was relatively easy to make. It's very attainable, especially if you're just making the skirt. And that is it. I love you guys whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every Friday and we have spooky fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! It's me, I'm the pumpkin patch. So, I'm very... Beep, boop, beep, beep. Oops. I'm gonna take you up on pumpkins. I got a present for you. Hold out your hands.
He looks like a realistic version of the one from Bug's Life.
He does. I'm a beautiful butterfly. Photo! Photo. Also, I thought Nick threw this out, and apparently he didn't. You disgust me. I really gotta stop doing that before I actually think about what I'm gonna say. I'm the Oogie Boogie man, bitch. Are you even wearing a strapless dress if you don't do this the entire time?
I might just split a seam if I don't die laughing.